7 a.m. and it's now time for the Morning Watch with Reverend Dr. Dylan Toussaint. Today, the Morning Watch is sponsored and it is sponsored by AIM Financial Corporation and also, AIM Financial Corporation has a loan for any purpose. They want you to visit any of our branches in Mandeville, Kingston, Spanish Town, Portmore, Maypen, Ocho Rios, and Montego Bay.
In need of a loan? AIM Financial is the place to go. We have loans from $20,000 to $3.3 million. Get a loan to pay school or college tuition, medical expenses, bills, fix up your house, buy furniture and appliances, repair or buy a car. And when you're done, take a vacation loan. AIM has a loan for any purpose. Call AIM today. You won't find a better deal elsewhere. Guaranteed.
Through its agencies, the Ministry of Economic Growth and Job Creation is committed to ensuring all Jamaicans have access to safe, potable water.
In 2022 alone, the NWC has laid a number of new pipes, benefiting over 200,000 Jamaicans.
This year, the government is investing over $7 billion Jamaican dollars into the infrastructure of the National Water Commission through pipelaying and increased storage capacity.
Providing you with water is our mission.
Listeners to Love 101 FM are advised that the views and opinions expressed in this program are not necessarily those of Love 101 FM.
Hello and welcome. Hello and welcome to the Morning Watch on Love 101 FM. I'm your host, Dylan Toussaint. A special welcome to our listeners on love101.org. And if you're overseas and on the move, US listeners can access us at 712-832-8001. And if you're in the UK, 0330-332-6541. Or join us via the Love 101 FM app that can be downloaded from the Google Play Store or the Apple Store. You can also join us on Love 101 FM Facebook and YouTube Live. In the first watch today, how tough is tough? Are the criminal laws in Jamaica sufficient as is? And in the second watch, financing breast cancer, concerns and solutions. For our social media question, we ask, what are your thoughts on the criminal laws in Jamaica? Are they tough enough? We're asking you to share your responses on our Love 101 FM Facebook page and YouTube channel. And also on WhatsApp, 876-997-3125 using the hashtag The Morning Watch. We'll share your responses later on in the program, but before all of that, here's I quote.
Good morning, good morning. Today's I quote says, truth by its very nature is divisive. Excuse me, and this is from John MacArthur.
Okay, good morning, Joka.
Good morning, how are you?
I am well, and you?
I'm doing good.
Great. Yeah, interesting quote there. Truth by its very nature is divisive.
Divisive, yes.
Yeah, because, you're going to have persons who are opposed to the truth.
That's right.
Yes, and you're going to have persons in their opposition. They're going to do everything to push back against the truth. So we're going to have all sorts of divisive responses. Yeah, that's a very true quotation. What do you think?
I agree with you. Very true. And some may find it very divisive. So, I mean,
yeah, there we go. The first watch will be back after this break.
Sardine with the chef and the beginner. Follow the one with pepper, better the winner. Shop and supermarket, everybody sell it. You all of them nice. Pass the part, make push it.
Great sardines, follow the better flavor.
Watch the trend, pick up the trend. This are the trend, we are the youths them. Watch the trend, pick up the trend. TREND. Pick up the trend for education, teachers and the students. A fully bright future, yes, that are the new trend. Better governance partner with the parents. Follow the big trend, elevate the youth them. Improve the school's track performance, access and attendance. From infant primary to university students. Turn up the skills training, full steam we are giving. Follow the big trend, elevate the schools. Yeah. Watch the trend, pick up the trend. This are the trend, we are the youths them. Watch the trend, pick up the trend. TREND. Promote technology. Yes, and better planning, quality education, that's what should be trending. From principals to EOs, everybody winning. Follow the ministry, changing the system. Watch the trend, pick up the trend.
This is Trend, Transforming Education for National Development, a program designed by the Ministry of Education and Youth to transform Jamaica's education system for a brighter tomorrow.
Your health is your wealth, so come we start the conversation. Make we rise and immunize all across the nation. The ministry is giving us the motivation. Get your infants routine immunization. Protect the toddlers from all diseases. Tetanus, rubella, whooping cough and the measles. Polymyelitis, mumps and the flu, plus tuberculosis, to name a few. Rise to immunize. Eliminating diseases saves lives. Visit your nearest clinic or health center for more information or log on to www.moh.gov.jm.
A message from the Ministry of Health and Wellness with support from USAID and PAHO.
Call me shrewd. I am getting in when the markets are attractively priced.
Call me smart. I am getting set to capitalize when the markets have increased potential. Call me savvy. I have a mix of wise investments, so I'm earning no matter the season.
They're all investing in Sagicor Investments Sigma Global Funds, like our US dollar Sigma Global Equity and Sigma Green Growth. Never settle for less than your dreams. Start investing now in Sigma Global Funds. Call 888 Sagicor to speak with a Sagicor Investments Wealth Advisor. Conditions apply.
Thanks for staying with us. I'm your host, Dylan Toussaint. Now, instead of crime going down, it seems to be increasing, and with it, a sense of careless abandon, which in recent days has heard the Prime Minister Holness calling for tougher laws against criminals and describing the recent murder of 2 young boys and a man in a taxi as akin to a terrorist attack or act. So, do we need tougher laws or more laws to defeat this crime monster? Which is it? And why is it so? Well, to answer these and other related questions, we have online Mr. Bert Samuels, attorney at law, and Wilfred Rattigan, former FBI agent and attorney at law. Good morning to you both.
Morning. Hope I'm being heard.
Good morning.
Good morning to you both.
Good morning. Good morning.
Yes, good morning. Great. Yes. I begin with you, Mr. Rattigan. For the record, what is the difference between capital and non-capital murder?
Capital murder, based on my understanding of it, is where there is a penalty, a death penalty attached to it. Whereas...
Mr. Rattigan, did you hear me?
Yes, can you hear me? Can you hear me? Hello?
Yes, go ahead. Go ahead. Hearing you now.
Yeah, capital murder is where there's a death penalty.
Yes,
attached.
we're hearing you. Go ahead.
I guess there's a delay. Balahula, you can't hear me?
Yes, it has splendid Los Vestra.
Yeah. Thank you, sir. Yeah, capital punishment is where there is the death penalty attached to it.
And why is it attached to capital and the other non-capital?
It goes to intent and preparation. If somebody, capital punishment is usually the case where somebody, I'm gonna call him Balahula because we're We both attended Meadowbrook. Actually, the truth be known, he was my head boy, you know. And I don't mean that in a derogatory sense either. meaning that he was my superior. Yeah. But that's where you have somebody who they call it malice of forethought, where somebody actually sits down and they plan out this taking of a life.
Okay. Mr. Samuels, also for the record, what are the current laws of Jamaica in regards to punishment for capital murder vis-a-vis non-capital murder?
Okay, so the punishment on the books, and I underline on the books, is for capital murder is that the death penalty.
Mm-hmm.
And for non-capital, it's life imprisonment, where the judge recommends a period of time before which you can apply for parole. But just to add to the capital punishment category, that's about 5 different instances. 1, where 2 or more persons are killed at one time. 2, where the death is associated with another crime, rape, burglary. 3, the killing of a judicial officer. 4, the killing of a police officer. 5, the planning and executing a contract murder. Someone pays you for reward to go and kill someone. So there are 5 categories, generally speaking, that puts you into the capital murder zone. But I must add that if you're talking about punishment, we haven't had any hanging since 1988. So what happens is, in practical terms, the DPP, when there's a capital murder case, she must inform the accused before the case that she intends to seek the death penalty. And it is a capital murder case. If she does not, or the DPP does not inform the accused, even though he's charged and tried for capital punishment, if he has not been told that they're going to seek the death penalty as punishment, then the Court of Appeal will not allow that death penalty to be sustained. Also, as a matter of practice and a practicality, the DPP does not, in most cases, seek the death penalty, does not go for capital murder, because there's a strong sentiment in the society against hanging, and there are strong sentiments for hanging. So you don't want a jury who may be that divided to sit on a capital murder case, and because of the punishment, they don't say guilty if they don't believe in the capital murder. So that's a little speech to you on capital.
Yeah. All right. So, gentlemen, in light of the nature and number of murders in Jamaica today, do we need tougher laws, or should they remain the same? Mr. Rattigan?
Well, I take the view that there are enough laws in Jamaica to deal with crime in terms of punishment. What I don't see enforcement, sufficient enforcement of those laws. And given my background, that's where I tend to focus a lot on the enforcement aspect of it. I mean, how much more stringent, how much more, tougher are you going to get the laws to be? I mean, they just passed a law, the Firearms Act of last year, I believe, or 2020, where it's 15 years to life for the possession of a firearm. And we have a case right now where DPP is arguing against that punishment that was levied against somebody who was caught with a firearm. So for me, it's not how tough are the laws, it's how significant is the enforcement.
Okay, stick a pin right there. We're going to come back and hear what Mr. Samuels has to say on the matter. We're up on a break. We'll be right back.
You can go. to shake and ball. Them want to feel, I feel increase the tempo. Them want to shake and ball. We want sweet, nice nutrition for your lifestyle. Them want to shake and ball. We are kick, we boy football season they kick. Them want to shake and ball. Try the delicious new flavors today. Chocolate, vanilla, peanut, them want to shake and ball.
Looking to own a home and put down your roots? Join us at the Sagicor Bank Mortgage Boutique this Saturday, November 18, Duke and Tower Street branch, 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. Apply for your mortgage on location and get a competitive mortgage rate. 0.25% off commitment fee, on-site pre-qualification, $20,000 gift voucher for appliances, a Sagicor Bank Star Savings account with $5,000 for your child. Plus, on mortgage approval, you could be one of 3 winners of a patio set, living room set, or inverter AC with free installation. The Sagicor Bank Mortgage Boutique this Saturday, Duke and Tower Street branch, 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. Conditions apply. Authorized under Section 58(3) of the Betting, Gaming and Lotteries Act.
Christmas is togetherness. Flow is giving you their best. Christmas is special savings. That's just what Flow is bringing. Christmas is the joy of giving. So that's just what you've been wishing. Oh, it's a celebration. Free phone and earbuds for you.
Get a free Samsung phone and earbuds when you sign up for Flow Yard and Road for only $4,999 plus GCT.
Flow makes Christmas bright and blue because it's all inspired by
Visit
you.
your Flow store to sign up today. Conditions apply.
Sagicor Bank proudly celebrates Global Entrepreneurship Week. Entrepreneurs are essential to the success of our economy. We're committed to providing the support they need.
Tired of the high interest rates and the whole heap of loan payments every month? Take a debt consolidation loan from AIM to pay credit card bills and all other high interest rate loans from other institutions. Make one low monthly payment to AIM and take home some extra money in your pocket. That's financial freedom. One loan, one low payment, more money in your pocket. Call AIM today to lower your loan payment. And remember, you won't find a better deal elsewhere. Guaranteed.
Welcome back to the Morning Watch. Thanks for staying with us. I'm your host, Dylan Toussaint. And in this, the first watch, we are asking the question, how tough is tough? Are the criminal laws in Jamaica sufficient as is? In so doing, we have online Mr. Wilfred Rattigan, former FBI agent and attorney at law, and also Mr. Bert Samuels, attorney at law. Before the break, I'd asked the question, in light of the nature and number of murders in Jamaica today, do we need tougher laws or should they remain the same? I think I heard Mr. Rattigan saying that the problem, as far as is concerned, is enforcement. Mr. Samuels, what's your take on that?
Yeah, it's you could write a book on whether the laws in Jamaica punishment is sufficient. I think I share my friend's view, the Rattigan, that the laws are theirs, how we administer them. Also, like him, I'm concerned about detection, the use of scientific evidence as opposed to human recollection and human frailty. Something that bothers me many times. I remember the case of Sangster and Dixon, 2 men who were convicted in Jamaica before a jury. And the Court of Appeal upheld the death penalty for one. It went to the Privy Council. And for the first time in the Privy Council, it was brought out that there was a video recording of the shooting, which was in a Western Union banking hall, for want of a better word. Now, that evidence was at all times available, but never used at trial, neither was it brought to the Jamaican Court of Appeal. It was embarrassingly shown in the Privy Council as fresh evidence. And what it turned out, neither of the two, Sangster and Dixon, who were convicted, one for capital murder to be hanged, were seen on the video. Now, isn't that troubling that these men were pointed out on an ID person police officers as the men who had killed their colleague. And these are in law usually treated as special witnesses who have trained in, recollection. So that's what bothers me. You must firstly agree that the system is working, that convictions are sound before you respectfully can move to punishment. So on that side, I don't support the death penalty, and Sanction Dixon is one of the explanations why I can't, because it is better that 10 go free than one innocent is given that irreversible penalty. So my answer to the whole question of punishment in Jamaica is that this minimum sentence thing bothers me too, because what we're finding is that it is the parliament who is imposing sentence, no longer judges. The system, as I understand that the separation of powers, is that the parliament should make laws, prescribe punishment, but they should leave the quantum of the punishment to judges. I've seen a case in which a judge had to give an accused 15 years because it was the minimum. But that same judge recommended, as he can do under the law, she gave a certificate that in her judgment, the punishment should be 6 years, not 15. So she heard the evidence, she saw the accused, she saw the report from the social services, and felt that is harsh. That's it. That's my talk. I'm through. I am through. You're hearing me, Mr.
Yes,
Rattigan?
Mr. Samuel,
Yeah, I
still
can
with
hear you.
you.
Yeah, I can hear you.
I am wondering though, along with why are they not successfully prosecuting more criminals?
I can't answer that. Successful. I don't like the word successfully, because I think that you must have the credible evidence and put it before the court. And whether you, as the prosecutor, you win or lose, that's another issue, because you can't have fair trials as one of our ideals and be too concerned about whether it is successful or not. Well, if you have the wrong person before the court, the prosecution should be not successful. So you have to be careful how we use that word success. It's the quality of the evidence. When the evidence is very strong, accused person would more likely want to plead guilty, because they are cornered by scientific evidence, be it DNA, photograph, videos. When it is strong and scientific, you will have more guilty pleas. Trust me.
I agree with my learned colleague there that the problem is, yes, you can point to the laws, you can point to the fact that the legislature, they're overreaching, taking some of the judges' roles. But at the end of the day, you have to go back and look at the investigation. How was that investigation conducted? And
Yeah.
right. And this goes to training, right? And it also goes to working in tandem with the prosecutor. Like, for example, in the United States, and I'm just giving this as an example, with the FBI, as soon as they have probable cause to believe that something occurred, sometimes even before that, they go across the street to the U.S. Attorney's office and they start to work hand in glove with a prosecutor. So the prosecutor will say, look, for the crime I'm looking at, I'm going to need this, and that. And so the agent is then has the responsibility of going out to collect evidence, to collect the facts. But I find, and I'm open to being fully corrected, that in Jamaica, that doesn't happen with all of these cases. Some cases, yes, but as a rule, it doesn't happen. So the investigators doing whatever they need to do, and at some point in time, they'll approach the prosecutor's office. But then you'll realize that sometimes it's too late. It's too late. The evidence has been tainted. The evidence hasn't been collected. The evidence has disappeared. A whole range of problems. So one of the things that I would propose, instead of stricter laws, is pure engagement, full engagement, total engagement between the police and the prosecutors once they've decided to go down the road of investigating somebody.
Gentlemen, recently one of our parliamentarians proposed adopting the El Salvador model. What are your views on that? Mr. Samuels first and then Sir Rattigan.
Heaven help us all if we ever adopt those practices. I hope that that was a knee-jerk reaction and we'll never abandon the principles of investigations. The Constitution of Jamaica would have to be amended to allow for pre-arrest detention, pre-trial detention without any opportunity. And I totally frown on that. It's a lazy approach to solving crime. It is, trying to use the hammer to kill the fly when collateral damage for people's rights and wrongful detentions will continue. So I'm opposing that strenuously.
No, that in and of itself will lead to the abuse of fundamental rights and freedoms. And as Bert said, it's a knee-jerk reaction. There are other ways of dealing with crime and criminality. Instead of just rounding up people without much of any evidence and just detaining them. And in fact, in Jamaica, we have cases where under the SOE has applied, people are now suing the government for unlawful detention, and they're winning. So it's going to require a huge step, a sea wave in terms of a change to amend the Constitution to allow for that type of constitutional infringement on basic human rights. So I agree. It's a knee-jerk reaction. I don't think it will ever be implemented in Jamaica, and it shouldn't.
Okay. And of course, Mr. Samuel said, heaven help us all. Well, as we wind down our discussion, what are your suggestions, recommendations going forward so that we can kill this crime monster? We can get rid of it. Mr. Rattigan and then Mr. Samuels, and then we wrap.
Okay. I'm going to propose something that's radical, and that is we need leadership at the helm of the JCF. We don't have leadership. I don't believe we have leadership. And as a result of that, this is why we're seeing what we're seeing, because people are asking for a crime plan. They proposed in 2016 something called Plan Secure Jamaica, which is supposed to be a national security plan, inclusive of a crime plan. It hasn't worked. On paper, it looks good. I've read it many, many times. But you need resources for that to happen. And we heard where the Minister of National Security says he's been spending $1.2 billion since 2016, fiscal year 2016, and it will end March 31st of next year to reinvigorate, to reform the JCF. We haven't seen much of that. They were supposed to be at a strength of 14,000 a year and a half ago, I believe, and they're still at they're lingering around 11 to 12,000. If you speak to the people at the Federation, they don't have enough resources to deal with the crime problem. Plus, Jamaica has very porous borders, so anything and everything can come in at any time. And not to mention the Big C. I mean, we could go on and we could talk about the Big C for days, corruption. So we need to start with leadership and have that cascade down to the person walking the beat or patrolling the streets. And that's where I would start, with leadership, because they've said that they have the funding to resource the JCF. We don't see it being spent properly. In fact, in some instances, we don't see it being spent. They've hired, they've ordered, and I guess they've received police costs. But recently we saw where the government of Japan gave them funding to purchase 38 vehicles, including 5 ambulances. And we haven't heard anything about it. So I'll leave it at that. Leadership. Start with that.
Well, sorry, we have to leave the entire discussion at that. Time is up on us. I want to thank you both for joining us. Gentlemen, have a safe day. Thanks again.
Thank
Listeners,
you.
the Morning Watch will return in just a moment.
We JN Bank, anything possible with a little savings in your hand.
The time by Jan Bank is
7:30 a.m.
Suzuki have something for them and them, and woman them. Suzuki rule the road. Purchase a Suzuki Vitara, Grand Vitara or XL7 and rule the road with Suzuki. And get 1 year free down, valued at $100,000. $100,000. What are you waiting for? Test drive your dream Suzuki today. WhatsApp us at 876-465-3647 and follow us on social media at Suzuki JA for more details. Offer available at Stop Flash. Only at Stewart's Automotive Group, South Hemphill, Kingston, and Iron Drum Bay. Conditions apply.
Watch the trend, pick up the trend. This are the trend, the all the youths them. Watch the trend, pick up the trend. TREND. Pick up the trend for education, teachers and the students. A fully bright future, yes, that are the new trend. Better governance partner with the parents. Follow the big trend, elevate the youth them. Improve the school's job performance, access and attendance from infant, primary to university students. Turn up the skills training, full steam we are giving. Follow the big trend, elevate the schools. Yeah. Watch the trend, pick up the trend. This are the trend for all the youths them. Watch the trend, pick up the trend. TREND. About technology. Yes, and better planning, quality education, that's what should be trending. From principals to EOs, everybody winning. Follow the ministry, changing the system. Watch the trend, pick up the trend.
This is Trend, Transforming Education for National Development, a program designed by the Ministry of Education and Youth to transform Jamaica's education system for a brighter tomorrow.
Jamaica and its workforce are advancing quickly. Life-changing opportunities are arising. You need training and support. We are the Renewed Heart NSTA Trust, committed to providing new and emerging skills training and opportunities. Come to Heart. We'll help you claim your place in the workforce of the future.
Once upon a time, there was a girl named Kay. She loved to dance and play. One day at school, she got very ill, and Mom was left with an unbearable bill. It would be easier if Mom was prepared. With School Companion, 80% of the bill is cleared. Medical care for children is a must for as low as $2,400 per month. Make unbearable medical bills go away. Sign up for Surgical School Companion today.
In need of a loan? A Financial is the place to go. We have loans from $20,000 to $3.3 million. Get a loan to pay school or college tuition, medical expenses, bills, fix up your house, buy furniture and appliances, repair or buy a car. And when you're done, take a vacation loan. AIM has a loan for any purpose. Call AIM today. You won't find a better deal elsewhere. Guaranteed.
Welcome back to the Morning Watch. Thanks for staying with us. I'm your host, Dylan Toussaint. Let's now look at the newspapers to see what Jamaicans and others are saying and doing. In the Observer, pushback. Rights groups, individuals urge government to sign new EU pact despite concerns that have been raised. Also, we are seeing that a bomb threat hoax could cost Kingston Wharves millions in losses. I think that was yesterday's occurrence. And then in the Gleaner, Jackson shortlisted for World Athlete of the Year. Also in the Gleaner, hungry belly children can learn. Importance of good nutrition stressed at relaunch of Project Star School Feeding Initiative. And in Loop News, the Prime Minister proposes new town for Hanover. And also diabetes, major health concern in the Caribbean. Those are some of the major stories and headlines in our newspapers. Coming up next, we'll read some of the feedback from our social media question. What are your thoughts on the criminal laws in Jamaica? Are they tough enough? We're asking you to leave a comment on our Facebook page and YouTube channel, Love 101 FM Jamaica, or WhatsApp 876-997-3125. We'll be right back.
Get ready for another inspiring show this Testimony Tuesday inside Alive 1 to 5 November 14, packed with inspirational stories and island-flavored music. 1:45, we bring you the brain testing Menticize Listeners Big Edition. Stick around for prayer blast at 2 o'clock as we ring in the prayer bells of heaven. 2:15 inside the evidence, we hear part 2 of the testimony of Reverend Adet Mitchell, who spent 5 weeks in hospital after she suffered a major heart attack. Then at 3 p.m., we go behind the pulpit for part 2 with the anointed pastor of the Conquering Lion of the Tribe of Judah Healing and Deliverance International Ministry, Pastor Rowan Sims. All this and more will come alive 1 p.m. to 5 p.m. November 14 with yours truly, Sarah and the Chirpy One on the family station, Love 101. Celebrating 30 years of music, family, and love.
They say the word predestined has both a broad and narrow meaning. Why do we pray or plan or bother about anything if everything is predestined? What does the Bible have to say about this? Tuesday, November 14, on The Rock, join host Bishop Harold Steve Bear and guests Pastor Christopher Kennedy and Errol Bean as they discuss the topic predestination. That's The Rock, Tuesday, November 14 at 10 a.m. here on the family station, Love 101.
Welcome back to the Morning Watch. Thanks for staying with us. I'm your host, Dylan Toussaint. We now segue into the second watch. October was Breast Cancer Month. But breast cancer is with us 12 months of the year. And we know this because of these facts. Firstly, breast cancer is the leading cancer among women in Jamaica. Secondly, 1 in 10 women today will develop breast cancer. And thirdly, there's a rise in diagnosis among younger women between the ages of 30 to 45 years. But can this possible interruption to our lives be afforded? Let's face it, we'll always be in need of more funds to treat patients, our wives, sisters, aunts, daughters, grandmothers, mothers, and friends. So to discuss this issue, we have joining us this morning Mr. Alfred Todd, Insurance and Financial Advisor, NCB Insurance Agency, and Ms. Christine Nelson, a stage 4 breast cancer survivor. Good morning to you both.
Good morning. Good morning.
Good morning. Good morning, Mr. Toussaint. Good morning.
Good morning, everyone.
Mr. Todd. Good morning.
Great. Good to have you both with us. Yes, thanks for joining us. I begin with you, Ms. Nelson. Well, first of all, we celebrate with you the fact that you are a survivor, and we continue to pray for your strength.
Thank you.
Now, what can you tell us about your experience with breast cancer? Example, how old were you when you were first diagnosed? What were your initial thoughts? How has it been as a cancer survivor?
Okay. Well, I was diagnosed when I was 7 months pregnant, and that was in 2018 in Jamaica, Montego Bay. And of course, fear got over me because there's nobody in my family that has it. So the first step that I took was to tell my doctor, well, I'm going to have the baby first, and then we can do whatever after. After that, he said that it was contained. That's what he said. We did a left breast mastectomy. Of course, at that age, I was 35. I was 35 or 34. And I have never, there would be no need for me to do a mammogram at that time. I wasn't introduced to a mammogram. Of course, I was the one who found it. I wasn't even doing a self-test. I just barely rubbed my hand on my breast. Of course, you're pregnant and you're touching yourself and you want to make sure that everything is okay. And I just found there was a lump, and I just thought it was the milk ducts because I had a baby before. I had a child before, which was 5. He was 5 at the time. So I wasn't expecting all of this. And we did a left breast mastectomy. After I had the baby overseas. I came back, and we did the surgery. And afterwards, we went to an oncologist. And when we went to the oncologist, no, before we did the surgery, when we went to the oncologist, based on what the surgeon had said, he said that there was, we didn't remove any lymph nodes because according to him, everything was contained in where the breast was after we did the surgery. And the funniest thing about it is when we went to the hospital, I wasn't given a port, so I had to do everything through my veins. And luckily, I was able to call NCB, which I had 2 insurance with NCB. I didn't know. I just called them and I said, listen, this is what is happening to me. I know I'm paying for insurance. Do I have anything that I can get back, at least to help me, to get through with the finances and whatever I need to do? Then I was told, yes, I have critical insurance. And to be honest with you, when they did that, it was no hassle for me to get it. When I came back from the States, I got the money, but of course the money could not afford all the medications that I had, because at the time I was diagnosed as a HER2 positive, where I had to get an injection every month. And I also had to go to the hospital. The pills were ridiculously expensive. They were like $360,000. $360,000. Yeah. So of course the money that I got back from.
Tell you what, Miss Nelson.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, I just want to interject. Because I want to bring in Mr. Todd before we go to the break, and then we come back to the rest of your story.
Mm-hmm.
Okay?
No
yeah.
problem.
So Mr. Todd, she mentioned about the NCB. Mentioned about the NCB insurance financing. What are the available financial options for those with a cancer diagnosis, in particular breast cancer? Mr. Todd? Not sure if I'm hearing him.
I'm not sure.
Get ready for another inspiring show. This Testimony Tuesday inside Alive, 1 to 5, November 14. Packed with inspirational stories and island flavored music. 1:45, we bring you the brain testing meant for side.
Nice sardine for the chef and the beginner. Follow the one with pepper, that are the winner. Shop on supermarket, everybody
Great
selling.
sardines, follow the better flavor.
The time is
7:45 a.m.
Watch the trend, big up the trend, TREND. Big up the trend for education, teachers and the students. A fully bright future, yes, that are the new trend. Better governance partner with the parents. Follow the big trend, elevate the youth them. Improve the school's job performance, access and attendance. From infant primary to university students. Turn up the skills training full steam, we are getting. Follow the big trend.
This is Trend, Transforming Education for National Development, a program designed by the Ministry of Education and Youth to transform Jamaica's education system for a brighter tomorrow.
Take a good look at your Sagicor Bank credit card. Do you see the Acropolis of Athens? The picture-perfect beaches of Crete? Use your Sagicor Bank credit card and you could discover the magic of Greece. Get a chance to win a luxury trip for two to Greece when you spend with your Sagicor Bank Gold and Platinum credit card until November 25, 2023. The more you spend, the more chances to discover Greece. Conditions apply. Authorized under Section 58.3 of the Betting, Gaming and Lotteries Act. Visit Sagicor.com to learn more.
Jamaica's gangs are like packs of rats. They live in filth and try and drag us all in there with them, spreading the disease of violence and corruption everywhere. But like a pack of rats, they can be eliminated with your help. If you have information on gangs, call Crime Stop on 311. This message is brought to you by Crime Stop and their marketing partners, Lime and NCB.
From generation to generation, Jamaicans have depended on J&B Bank to make the pride and joy of providing a safe place for their families possible. Now, with no processing fees and no down payment mortgage options, you can open the door to your own sweet home, a legacy to hand to your next generation. Visit jnbank.com to get pre-approved today. J&B Bank will help you find a way.
Welcome back to the Morning Watch. Thanks for staying with us. I'm your host, Dylan Toussaint, and in this, the second watch, we have been discussing the whole matter of financing breast cancer, concerns and solutions. In so doing, we have online Miss Christine Nelson, stage 4 breast cancer survivor, and Mr. Alfred Todd, Insurance and Finance Advisor, NCB Insurance Agent. Is Mr. Todd on with us?
I'm not seeing him.
Okay, not seeing him either. Okay, let's continue then with you, Ms. Nelson. Right, tell us about the rest of your journey.
Right. So I was able to get the money that I had invested in the critical life insurance. No, this critical life insurance wasn't something that I had planned or anything. You know, you have your family, you just got married, and you just want to make sure that you have all insurance plan in place. And it was the agent at the time, it was very much hassle-free. She helped me out. Of course, the money was not enough for the medications that we did, but it did help with personal finances, taking care of bills and stuff like that. So it doesn't limit you to say that, okay, you have to pay for your, it has to go towards your medications and stuff like that. On my journey, as I said before, I did everything at Cornwall Original, and it was a little bit scary at the time, operated out of fear, but it was under control to some extent. It wasn't until in late 2019, 2020, early 2020 that it metastasized to the bone and to the lung. And that is where they had to decide now that I had to do another biopsy. When we, and of course, based on how Cornwall Original was, I was a little bit scared to do everything there because it was just the facilities were just not enough. So I came to the States, and when I came to the States, I got medical attention, I got medical care. They did another biopsy. They said that it came back conclusive when they had sent for the slides in Jamaica. So based on what I was being treated for, that's not what they're seeing. That wasn't what they were seeing. I was no estrogen positive, which means I had to take out my ovaries. I had to do another surgery. I had to do another biopsy. Everything had to be done over again. And you can just imagine the distress that I was in at that time. So everything was done over. It was being treated, and um another something else came up. It came up that it was in my liver after another year or two,
Oh dear.
and it was no triple negative. So it
Oh
just
dear.
there was just another
Uh,
it was just development after development. But I serve a God that it will bring me through the
yes.
storm. So now I'm redoing chemotherapy, and so far the tumors are they found multiple tumors on the brain, which I had seizures 2 months ago, and they luckily twice they wanted to do surgery on my brain. They wanted to do surgery to take out the tumors, but with God in the middle of it, they it was declined that I didn't have
Stick
to do it because the
stick a
tumors
pin.
were shrinking. Go ahead.
Stick a pin right there. Just quickly, can you give us an idea of how much that cost? How much all of this has been costing you? Just quickly, because I want to bring in Mr. Todd. I think he's on now.
Well, to be honest with you, because I'm not in Jamaica, I'm actually getting it. Actually, I'm getting it for free.
For free. Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Mr. Todd, can you hear me?
Are you hearing me?
Yes, hearing you.
Yes.
Good. Yes, Mr. Todd. What are the available financial options for those with a cancer diagnosis, in particular breast cancer?
Okay. Well, the idea of the critical illness plan is actually for you to prepare in the event of something. So, regrettably, after you have been diagnosed, the plan wouldn't be able to cover you at that point, which is what underscores the importance. What Miss Nelson did was correct. She took out her critical illness plan long before, or however long before she was
Mm-hmm.
diagnosed, and upon diagnosis, it was able to provide some support. Now, in terms of, she did mention that it wasn't enough, and this is a fact. This is something that we face as well, because we have to look at the fact that critical illnesses are expensive,
Mm-hmm.
very, very, very expensive to deal with. And she actually did say it, and the cost of the medication and the cost of the surgeries and the injection that she has had to face is extremely expensive. And we do have plans that provide substantial coverage, up to $50 million of critical illness coverage in the event of a diagnosis of some form of critical illness. So we have quite a few plans, but it underscores the need that we have to do this now before we are diagnosed. So in the event that we are diagnosed, we have some peace of mind that there's something to depend on.
And how does one apply? What is the procedure going forward for persons who find themselves in that situation?
Well, as Ms. Nelson said, there's a testimonial. It's very simple to sign up. Getting the coverage, it does not require medical, it doesn't require tests. We just answer a few questions and we do the application and you continue. The cost depends on your age, your gender, and the amount of coverage that you're taking. But then at the same time, how life insurance works is that the younger you are, the cheaper it is. So we have to remember this is the youngest that we will ever be for the rest of our lives. And as such, we have to do it now. We recommend persons get it done early. The younger you are, as I said, so it drives down the cost, but it's very simple to sign up. So all we ask you to do is to visit insurance.
And could I interject for a second, if you
Yes.
don't mind?
Please go
To be
ahead.
honest, To be honest with you, when I did I did both. I did the life insurance and I did the critical insurance. And that was just because I spoke to an agent. Her name is Tanya. And you know how it is with agents. They introduce you, they sell you the package. And at first I was hesitant about it, but I said, you know what? It's always good to, I wasn't prepared because you don't prepare to die or you don't prepare to get sick. But at the same time, when she introduced it, I said, okay, I'll take it. But I think I took the smallest one instead because of the job that I had. So I didn't have, enough money to be paying the premium I think it's a premium every month. And to be honest, I was about to cancel everything at the time. I was going to cancel everything. And she said to me, no, Christine, do not cancel, because I had met into some financial difficulties. And she said, Christine, do not cancel, keep it. And I said, okay. And this was a couple of years before my diagnosis. And when she said, no, don't cancel it, keep it, because of course that's the first thing that you cancel when you're in a financial deficit. You want to cancel all your insurance and everything that you're paying. So I ended up not canceling. I think I stopped it and not paid it. So when the diagnosis came in, it was a possibility that you could have gotten more. And I would implore people that if you have the money, even here now, it tells you do a will, do a life, a will, because we all will pass away, but we are afraid of doing things because we're not preparing to die, we're not preparing to do all of this. But you never know what can happen, and I'm a testimony. You never know what can happen. And I was very much pleased that I didn't cancel it at the time, because I went in the bank adamant to cancel every single insurance because I was broke and I didn't even get the diagnosis yet. I was broke. I was ready to cancel everything. So I took the minimum, which is why obviously it wouldn't have helped very far, but it helped very much. So I would implore people that they should take out critical insurance, life insurance. I also had life insurance with another institution, and it worked out. And this was way before my diagnosis. And this wasn't anything that I knew about. It was just me starting my family. I just bought my house and I just said, you know what, let us just have everything in place. My husband didn't, ex-husband at the time didn't have everything in place, but I made sure that I had things in place. Not because I knew what was happening or what would happen, but just because it's insurance and she sold it to me and I just did it. So
well, we're happy that you didn't.
Yeah.
Yes. And Mr. Todd, you have the final word. Based on your experience, what are some of the major issues and challenges you have been seeing with persons in this regard? And what are your suggestions? In 1 minute.
All right, no problem. Well, what Ms. Nelson said is actually a testament because persons having financial difficulties will want the first thing that they go for to cut the things that they can't see and touch. So the intangibles. So your life insurance, your health insurance, things like those, because you don't believe you're gonna need it now, you cancel it. But I implore all persons, as Ms. Nelson did, do not cancel your plan. And you should also review your plan every now and again, every year or so, to ensure that it is still doing, it is enough. That's number one. So let's just say you started at the minimum because that's what your budget allowed, no problem. But you should increase in increments. Move up, move it up, because you never know. And the great thing about the plan is that in the event that you are never diagnosed with a critical illness, you have a benefit
want to thank
full
you.
refund at a certain point in time. So you will never lose with a plan such as this. It is here to protect, it is here to give you. Go ahead.
Want to thank you both for joining us. Yes, Ms. Nelson and Mr. Todd, very informative, very insightful. Have a safe day.
And the same to you. Have a
Same
great
to
day.
you. God bless you. Thank you for having me.
No problem. Take good care.
Thank you, listeners, for being with us. Join us again tomorrow as we continue to set the stage for discussion of topical and controversial issues. For information or get copies of this program, call our production department at 876-968-959-627. This has been the Morning Watch. Thanks to our producer, Kathy Gale, and our guests. I'm Dylan Toussaint, hand you back to Love in the Morning with Jokal Dyer.
Time is now 8 a.m. and a half, and we want to thank the AIM Financial Corporation